I can't wait to watch you mop the floor with these nut jobs.
Because these detective skills are shit.
40,000 subscribers. I do believe that I should have 140,000. I am not who these fucking idiots say I am.
And I don't care who you are, when you fuck up, don't make me aware of it, because I'm going to make sure that you feel the consequences like anybody else should. Oh, hell no.
Hello, lovely people. This is a fun but serious follow-up to my last video about Lana Oriani of Truth and Transparency losing big time in court last week. If you haven't watched that video yet, I really highly recommend that you do, because it sets the context for these bananas motions that Lana filed in her defamation case against Vanessa from Unmasked. I'm not going to keep you here very long. I just want to illustrate the intense level of character dysmorphia we're talking about between YouTube Oriani and Court Oriani. Before I get into the motions, let me just remind you that the case in question here has already been decided by the court. It's closed. Lana Oriani lost this case on the grounds of lack of jurisdiction. And as of this date, she still hasn't admitted this on her channel, by the way. So this is our opportunity to put on our hindsight 2020 goggles and review the paperwork in this losing case to see this case for what it really was. And that is a blatant abuse of the court system to attempt to continue stalking someone who has a permanent stalking order. And the last video I did about her establishes her well-worn record of filing frivolous lawsuits. It's not hyperbole to literally say that she attempted to use the court process to continue to stalk Vanessa, and she continues to use it to try to stalk other people as well. And I think you'll agree with me by the end of this video. And be sure to stick around for the end of the video if you want to see the clip reel I put together of many of the things that Lana Oriani has said on her channel or other channels that just didn't age well in hindsight. What I'm going to go through are a couple of motions that Lana filed while the ball was in the court's court. The ball was in the court's court because on February 15th, Vanessa's lawyer submitted a motion to dismiss based on jurisdiction. Lana had the opportunity to reply to that motion, and she did, but she also filed a number of extraneous, out-of-order motions that had absolutely no place in the docket while the ball was still in the court's court. As the pre-trial date approached, which was in October before it got terminated by the court, Lana apparently became extremely antsy for an answer from the court, so she filed a motion asking for the court's answer, and she also filed motions that held the presumption within them that the case was going to move forward to trial, even though she hadn't received an answer to that question yet. So these motions I'm about to go through were filed out of order, and she wasn't entitled to make any of these requests of the court or of the other party until the court made their decision about jurisdiction. And I want to remind you here that these motions were not just filed by an ordinary pro se litigant, like a humble, ordinary person who doesn't know any better. These motions were filed by the great Oriani, the YouTube true crime sensation, who regularly proclaims her superior understanding of law and jurisprudence. The woman who declares without any irony or doubt in her mind that every case she covers is plagued with government corruption. And she's the woman who will laugh mockingly in the face of YouTubers with vastly more knowledge and experience and patience for her antics than she has for theirs.
And so it had nothing to do with the tree.
And that was put into the arrest warrant to arrest him.
I get it. They probably shouldn't. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, if you're not going to use something in court, I just don't see, like,
that's why they're trying to protect the work, because if they have to say this, they're fucked. Otherwise, you would just show it, Daniel. Otherwise, you would just show it.
She's the one filing these motions, okay? So this first one that I'm just kind of scrolling through here is the one I'm not going to go through because it's, again, very repetitive. But just to give you some examples of the overreach and the entitlement. You solicited people to help you with your business. So what? You bought subscribers. So you bought subscribers. That means you defamed me. Admit that you contacted Oriani. Admit that you typed the name Lana 482 times. Is that proof of defamation? Admit that you told somebody else that you had an affair, because that proves what? That you're just nosy. You're incredibly nosy, and you're also a stalker. What are the names of all your household accounts on YouTube that have been created within the past 3 years? The entitlement, you guys. What was your gross annual income for each source of income from 21 and 2022? What? Year-to-date gross income for 2023. This is the one that killed me the most. This is the one where you look at it and say, tell me you're a stalker without telling me you're a stalker. What is your current work schedule? Please describe in detail. Setting forth the number of days scheduled to work on a weekly basis. Vanessa is supposed to provide Ms. Oriani with her entire work schedule to prove that she didn't defame Oriani. Did you have a prescription for oxycodone? More medical information. She already shared medical information about Vanessa, which is one of the reasons that she earned a protection order. And now she's asking for more medical information. This is the second of 2 of Lana's bananas motions. And I'm going to concentrate more on this because it was once again another motion that was entered before there was any answer on jurisdiction. And everybody's clearly getting antsy because there's some pre-trial date coming up, and she wants answers. She wants answers. So on September 12th, she files this motion for deposition of defendant Vanessa. And she admits here, right here in the first paragraph or the second paragraph, that this material will help plaintiff meet her burden while not providing an excess of burden to defendant. So she's basically saying, I need this information to meet my burden. She's filing this bananas motion asking for the following. Preserve all data stored on any and all social media to include private messaging applications. To produce for examination copying purposes all telecommunications, calls, and messages to include Facebook, blah, 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 between 64 different people. You guys, I counted these, and I could have counted wrong. You know, I'm known to make mistakes, and I've redacted the last names unless the last name is already known on YouTube by that person, okay? Or if it's just an account name. But she's asking for all telecommunications between Vanessa and 64 different entities. This is not some class action lawsuit against a big corporation. This is not a criminal RICO case. This is a civil defamation complaint that hasn't even been decided yet on jurisdiction. And now she's asking for the communications between Vanessa and 64 different entities. All right. But that's not all. There's so much more. Download and produce all printed materials, all detailed phone records of all phone lines that are in the name of Vanessa or her husband. Tax returns. She believes that in this civil case, she is entitled to tax returns for 2020, 2021, and 2022. Vanessa is not accusing Lana of defamation, so she doesn't have to show tax records or financial records. And the plaintiff is not entitled to financial information when the plaintiff is the one saying, I've been hurt financially. Google add monthly revenue. Certificate of unmasking become credited with 100K subscribe and receiving a plaque. Okay, and that proves defamation. How? All email accounts, all financial bank statements, date and timestamp of fee agreement with Vanessa's lawyer, IP addresses, router information, all metadata from all exhibits that were submitted for the hearing that Vanessa won. Okay. Vanessa's Patreon agreement, a list of all Patreon members, a list of all VIP members, Vanessa's mods, all of her Facebook chats for mods and volunteers. Oh, and then she says where plaintiff was discussed. Oh, okay. All Facebook data download of all communications within Unmasked True Crime between July 2020 and present day. All saved surveillance camera footage. All FB metadata downloaded. All telecommunications between Vanessa and James to include alt accounts. All telecommunications between Vanessa and herself as an alt. All email exchanges with law enforcement agencies. All email exchanges with YouTube Legal or any representative of YouTube for any reason. All telecommunications timestamps between Vanessa and her husband. All telecommunications timestamps, but not the information of the telecommunications between Vanessa and her lawyer. This is the piece de resistance here. Now she wants geolocation information for specific dates of Vanessa. I want to know where you were exactly on these dates. How is that going to prove defamation? Emails, list of employees, list of volunteers, list of vendors and their services and pay structure. Yelp review history for all reviews given and received. A copy of the thumb drive that you provided via Broomfield. And by the way, this wonkiness on the scan, that's from the court itself. I didn't do it. Don't blame me. Any and all contracts between James and Vanessa. I'm not a lawyer, so don't quote me on this. But this is the only thing that I think really is a legitimate or close to a legitimate request. Communications that referenced doing business with the plaintiff or her nonprofit. That's really all she might be entitled to if she's able to establish jurisdiction, but that hasn't even been established yet and she's still making these demands. Any and all contracts signed by Vanessa or Unmasked. Copy of statements from financial institution between December 20th and March 2021. So I want to know everything. Let's just make things easy for you, Ms. Oriani. Why don't I just send you the usernames and passwords of every single business account or personal business account I have, and you can just go ahead and look through them. That's what she wants. That's what she would like to ask for. This is not just putting the cart before the horse. This is putting the entire tractor trailer before the cab, okay? I mean, this is insane. If you read through this motion, and I'll link to the docket where you can get this information and review it yourself, okay? What you start to see unwinding here is the way Oriani thinks. Oriani thinks that people do all the things that I believe she does, and so she puts them in accusations. See, not only is she not entitled to this information, literally no court in the land would review all of this stuff. You can't be on a fishing expedition. That's what the courts call it, a fishing expedition for information that I'm not entitled to, that I would never be entitled to under any circumstances as a private citizen against another private citizen. It proves the fact that she files these things vexatiously and then believes that she's entitled to use the court process to extract the information that she needs to prove her case. That is not how it works. But this is Lana Oriani. And according to YouTube Oriani, she knows all this. She knows how to do all this. She schools everybody else on how to interact with the courts and what to write in court paperwork and when a motion should be filed and when it shouldn't. She's the all-knowing authority on everything related to the courts. There's no burden to you, right? If you provide me with an open door to your entire private life so that I can meet my burden of proof in my vexatious lawsuit, come on, man.
I hope my girls turn out to be great. She is honest and trustworthy, and She's a rock star, honestly.
As I said in the beginning of this video, this is both fun and serious. It's fun because we can now look back on these motions knowing that the court didn't fall for her bullshit. And that bullshit they didn't fall for is hilarious in hindsight. But it's serious too, because it plainly illustrates what it looks like when a known stalker with criminal charges for telecommunications harassment tries to use the taxpayer-funded court system to continue stalking a protected party. It's a stark reminder of the fact that stalkers don't stop and they don't believe that they're doing anything wrong. True to form, Oriani vastly overestimated her litigation skills in her own mind and then the minds of her viewers. She vastly overpromised in her ability to burn everything down, and she abused the court system to retaliate on people she was already victimizing.
Given a TPO and this judge grants a PPO out on me, all of you guys will start getting the same fucking thing, and it's going to start with me.
And she misrepresented everything I just said to her paying audience. Remember the time when she said, "What should I call Unmasked when I own it and I win them?" When I own them after winning this lawsuit? I mean, how fucking delusional can you be, lady? And this is just one case against one person that I just went through. There are numerous others who were targeted, are continuing to be targeted by this character dysmorphic stalker. Most of them were people who were part of her inner circle at one time and staunchly defended her against me and other detractors. In other words, no one is safe. Nothing is sacred. In consideration of everything I just said, here, as promised, are the things that did not age well.
It all down, and y'all can watch it. Because win or lose, I will play the hearing. Because people defamed my nonprofit, Fight for a Family, forcing me out here on the YouTube streets to promote myself and the nonprofit to say I am not who these fucking idiots say I am.
Fuck no, I don't get... Vanessa, I want this to... And I have lawsuits out there. Shit, it's all over fucking OK Magazine now. And YouTube, you better do something about it, or your negligence is liable for my lawsuit that I've already... It's in the hands of a lawyer. I was like, I don't have a lawsuit put on me. I want a lawsuit. I said, okay, then I'm going to give you one. And I don't care who you are. When you fuck up, don't make me aware of it, because I'm going to make sure that you feel the consequences like anybody else should.
I can't wait to watch you mop the floor with these nut jobs. I mean, 5150, these motherfuckers. Shit. And then the slander. I mean, she tried to beat the shit out of her husband in Daytona on a family vacation, or maybe it was just them two on vacation, who knows. But she got arrested for domestic violence in Daytona.
You attacked me, my family, and my business entities.
What a bunch of fucking quacks. Y'all need some fucking help.
Oh, hell no.
Peace out.